Is it better, sir, now?
Far better.
Anush? Okay, great. So, sir, within a minute, we will be starting. Our MCs will be taking it over.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, am I audible?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, Anushka.
Welcome. I will begin once the live starts.
Yeah, Anushka, we are live. In a minute, we can start it.
Great, great. I'll start. Welcome back. Good evening to one and all present here. I take immense pleasure to welcome you all to CheckDit's first ever International Research Consortium, an extravagant event with illuminating panel discussions, enlightening and knowledgeable speeches from various respected speakers from across the world, and of course, an ocean of opportunities for all of you in the form of networking sessions, ideathon competition, and research expo. Checked It, a student based research initiative created with a vision that many believe cannot be seen as a possibility. We strive to deal with real world problems and find solutions that have never been improvised using the help of technology, human expertise, and a touch of empathy. Checked It delivers to you the solutions, innovations, and hope for a better tomorrow. Checked It, along with its collaborators, ACM, LMI, IIT Jaipur, Heartfulness Organization, BMSCE, ECEL, IIT Mandi, IEEE BMSC, Code Chef, Microsoft Innovations Club, Music Club, Dance Club, Dramatics Club, VIT Chennai, Skillanta, Ojasvi LPU, and Affinity, branding along with our sponsors, Verivo Motors and EduChecked, brings to you an extraordinary platform where discussions ranging from AI to mythologies will be incorporated among the youth and raise competent minds for the betterment of the future of our nation. Introducing you to our speaker for the session, Dr. Chinmay Hegde is a subject matter expert in the areas of smart things and cybersecurity with an experience of over 20 years in the industry. He has worked for global giants such as McAfee, Sysmatic, and Cisco. He is now the managing director of Astricos Consulting Private Limited, a strategic consulting expert organization for smart cities, smart infrastructure, and security in India. He works closely with multiple governmental and non-governmental institutions in India. Dr. Hegde possesses intellectual properties in areas of urban analytics, and security compliances and enforcement. He also champions the global smart city, IoT, and security framework on which he has presented several research papers and also published in reputed international journals. He is aboard as a mentor for guiding the reskilling and upskilling initiatives with multiple academic organizations, including Reva University and Renexus Malaysia. Sir, the stage is all yours. Please enlighten us.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind gesture of introducing, and it's quite exhaustive. Thank you, in fact. Yeah. So to start with my topic of the day, I'll just straight away present my screen, and from there we can move on, right? So, okay. So are you able to see my screen? Yeah, somebody?
Yes, sir.
That's perfectly fine. Okay. So as part of, okay, are you able to see the full screen mode also?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
fantastic.
sir.
So I'll start from here. In fact, the topic for today is impact of, future technologies in infrastructure and capacity building in academia with industry cooperation. So that's what I thought. This consortium is promoted by students, and then there are a lot of students part of this consortium. Right? So hence I thought, let me talk about the importance of capacity building and industry, academia, and governance cooperation, and prepare for the future. The next entire decade is going to be the decade of infrastructure development, right? Quite important. And also the influence of the ICT, IoT, and such kind of, the advanced technologies in terms of making the infrastructure smart. So that's what I thought, that let me, take it as a topic for the explanation today, right? So moving from There's just a quick introduction about the organization I represent out here. So Astricos is in the area of smart infrastructure, where we make the infrastructure such as, even it could be a building, it could be a data center, it could be a city, or it could be port, airport smart by intervening with the digital transformation or Industry 5.0 or industrial IoT or any such kind of a cognitive intelligence based data science, the influence of that into the infrastructure and making the infrastructure, the simple civil or mechanical or plumbing infrastructure smarter than the offline mode. So how to take that respective infrastructure to be existent and be persistent to the respective challenges, or maybe proactively acting towards the forthcoming challenges too. So just a quick intro is we are quite well decorated with various different ISO certificates and awards as being a startup also, right? So we have been growing since last few years. Just to give you the current traction globally, right? So the thing is, pandemic has changed the dimension of imperatives, right? So all of us agree with that. The things have changed than earlier. Almost there is a kind of a new normal. It's not just only the phenomena in India, it's across the globe in various different countries. So how to get prepared and how the infrastructure is moving towards and where the world is moving towards, based on that, just a quick video glimpse, right? So I'll tell you at the end of this video that why am I showing this.
Black swan incidents, like pandemics and other emergencies, require technologically integrated response via cross-functional collaboration, while mining unstructured data by deriving insights from disparate sources. BioWave, through collaboration with Astricos and Aviva, provides advisory and implementation expertise in the areas of technology, ICT, IoT, consulting, implementation of public enterprise policy, industrial automation and IoT for smart infrastructure, and disaster management by means of cognitive intelligence and data science. Our machine learning platform provides predictive and prescriptive analytics along with multidisciplinary collaboration frameworks. The National Healthcare Administrative Platform, NC2RMS, from BioWave and Astricos, is an integrated AI-driven operational intelligence solution that provides the HAMMER, the holistic mitigation and control strategy to enable collaborative actions and flatten the pandemic curve. The HAMMER shows how technology-based real-time interventions can quickly control and then dramatically reduce the spread of the pandemic by deploying collaborative platforms. In the current prevailing COVID pandemic scenario, managing and mitigating the spread with the help of technology intervention has become a mandate across the globe. However, through many applications were developed to address some aspects, there is currently no platform to integrate them to enable end-to-end monitoring and effective control. Lapses in supply chain leads to poor distribution, a persistent problem due to lack of visibility of vaccination registration at different centers. Now, the critical necessity to arrest the spread is to ensure that maximum number of people get vaccinated, a process that necessitates cross-functional coordination. NC2RMS is equipped with the required monitoring and tracking mechanism to give the administration an informed, analyzed, actionable perspective to effectively implement the government's vaccination drive. The map-based real-time tracking module of NC2RMS provides the National Healthcare Administration a complete end-to-end view on the number and location of vaccination centers, registration information, number of people vaccinated at each center, along with vaccine details, availability, as well as projected requirement of vaccines over a period of time. The mobile application will enable citizens to choose and allow access to the nearest vaccination center, thus masks, enabling them to register for and get vaccinated. Parallelly, the NC2 RMS empowers the National Healthcare Administration and other departments like Law and Order to collaboratively monitor and track the spread, enabling stakeholders to make informed decisions to arrest the spread. How do we achieve this? Imagine a situation where in a particular area, town, province is witnessing a surge in number of reported cases. The National Health and Crisis Response Departments, in collaboration with Law and Order and other enforcement agencies, can closely monitor and mobilize required support by creating a red zone and monitoring availability of beds, oxygen, ambulances, ventilators, and other critical medical infrastructure to the healthcare centers. The NC2 RMS is equipped with the ability to integrate CCTV cameras, which are strategically and optimally located. Video feeds from such cameras can be analyzed using high-end video analytics like IR tomography, face recognition, and etc. to identify and alert the law enforcement agency to take necessary corrective actions by alerting the field response team. NC2 RMS has an inbuilt contact center module which enables citizens to reach out to the National Health Administration personnel to get their queries answered and seek assistance with regards to the pandemic, such as accessing to the nearest healthcare centers and medical infrastructure. NC2 RMS provides data analytics-driven real-time situation monitoring and assessment to enable stakeholders to act in evolving crises such as pandemics or other disasters and exigencies. In a post-COVID world, NC2 RMS empowers cross-functional collaboration driven by AI, augmenting the Unified Operations Center to monitor on real-time GIS maps the trends across areas from descriptive data to predicting the evolving patterns of disease spread in communities, alert the respective departments to drive effective response measures, mobilize emergency response teams, and activate technology-enabled mitigation strategies. Crisis management cannot be effective unless all services are operated collaboratively, with analytics-driven actionable alerts, advisories, and automated workflows. All departments must be seamlessly interconnected on the technology platform. NC2 RMS, integrated with Aviva UOC, provide unified operational intelligence platform for crisis control and effective response. Aviva is a British multinational information technology company listed on London Stock Exchange with research and development centers across 32 countries, is a global leader in industrial software and process automation. During a crisis, it is imperative to adopt global best practices such as mandated by ISO 22320 to ensure resilience and recovery. Analytics-driven alerts, predictive forecasts, and prescriptive advisories are critical for rapid response to a crisis. All pillars, security and resilience, emergency management, incident response guidelines, SOPs and automated workflows, collaborative intelligence, and analytics-driven forecasts, predictive alerts, and advisories must be seamlessly integrated in this portal. PMO, CPRC, and state chief executives can access real-time updates on advisories and guidelines, incidents and traffic control, law and order, food and civil supplies logistics, medical response team, mobilization and deployment, cluster containment, emergency response management, pandemic assessment, and alerts on emerging threats, coordination with departments such as water supply, power, health, police, local courts, and medical units. NC2 RMS provides automated workflows to raise interdepartmental work orders, bring multiple departmental stakeholders on the same SOP execution framework, ensure the SLAs for all the tasks are met in time by all line departments in order to optimize service delivery. Healthcare dashboards provide complete overview of medical infrastructure, emergency services, health providers like doctors and nurses, field workforce mobilization, automated workflows and responses in a collaborative framework. NC2 RMS complements sustainable development goals in line with the global standards, improving the overall livability index and quality of life through enabling public administration and citizen services by digital transformation and technology intervention, along with a unique sustainable ROI model. With this globally acclaimed integrated platform of analytics-based collaborative advisories, lives can be saved,
Sustainability can be achieved. BioWave, human health protection against infections.
Well, so this is one of the examples of the how people act and how people act to make the operation smart or intelligent at the time of crisis, right? So all of us agree that example, India's vaccination drive or in India's COVID response drive was more automated than any other infrastructural, or large infrastructural projects in India, correct? So now you think of the situation if people can become smart in the situation of emergencies or responding to the emergencies. Now think of the situation where people become smart every day, right? So how it will be? So it will be fantastic. Am I right? So now, as we move forward, we will be seeing the next thing. So why there is a requirement of becoming a smart or improving the infrastructure and the future technologies? Because now every country across the globe has adopted something called the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs in short form. So SDG has got so many pillars. There are about 17 pillars, out of which the technologies can address minimum of 7 pillars, right? So how technology can address, how the in IoTs or ICTs or any such kind of a future technologies can improve it, let us see as we move forward. Sustainability, right? So the SDG is actually standing for the Sustainable Development Goals. What is the meaning of sustainability? The sustainability's meaning is good environment, and for that we need to indoor, outdoor, all the environment monitoring is required, and then based on the monitoring, taking respective actions. Similarly, energy management. Energy is one of the basic necessities, right? So same applies to water, waste, right? So waste has to be managed, otherwise it impacts the healthcare of the citizens, right? The people. So similarly, asset management, assets, all of the street lights you see or the cameras for your safety, security, all of them are actually assets, or even water pipelines, pump sets, or the electrical meters, everything is an asset. So manage that. So, and then bring in operational and maintenance excellence. So this is about bringing in a sustainability. Sustainable is nothing but, the thing is that lasts long. And to make it last long, quite important is to make it quite engaged with the day-to-day life of the people, right? So only then the sustainability can be achieved. Now let's see what our country, India, is trying to do in terms of infrastructure sustainability. Right. So in order to make the infrastructural improvement, you might have just couple of days or 3 days ago, you might have read in the newspapers or saw on the TV news channels that India's budget was being presented and infrastructures are getting a huge amount of push. So when I say about infrastructure make impact to the various disciplines. One is civil, another is mechanical, electrical, or any such kind of infrastructure where it is topped up with the technology, that is information technology or the information and communication technology, then the entire infrastructure can become intelligent. So now, in order to do that, there is a large amount of investment going on. So that means the future of, as I said in the beginning of this particular session, that next one complete decade is going to be dedicated for infrastructural improvements. So let us say what government is trying to do there, and the government is trying to do is nothing but bringing in a lot of mission mode projects, right? So National Urban Digital Mission, which covers a lot of functionalities across the states. Similarly, under the National Urban Digital Mission, there is a Smart City Mission, Digital India Mission, and National Urban Health Mission, Amrit Mission, and Jal Jeevan Mission to improve the water supply as well as power supply and all these things. There are a lot of missions which are being brought in. So similarly, apart from the urban improvement, the rural improvement is also quite important. For that, there is something called urban mission, right? So this is a particular mission which is looking to develop the household level, village level, and cluster level in that order, where it is quite important to connect the villages to the urban areas and improve the livability in the villages. Because why all of us or many of us might have moved from smaller towns or villages to the bigger cities is in search of opportunities, in search of mainly the better livability, right? So that is the reason improving all, horizontally across the urban as well as rural area is quite important. Similarly, to do that, the connectivity is quite important, right? So connectivity, when I say, it is transportation connectivity. So for that, the tier 2, 3, 4 great cities are getting airports under UDAN mission, and Swachh Bharat mission is quite well known. I think India's student crowd has participated a large and contributed a large in order to make this particular mission successful. Similarly, Sagarmala is a new mission which is brought in a couple of years ago, where it actually connects all the ports, the seaports across the coastal line of east and west coast of India. And Bharatmala, which is a roads in the sense the complete road networks, highways improvement are being done. Now, let us see what is the money that is being planned to be invested in this. It's not small. It's at least of 100 lakh crore rupees investment under various different heads. Like if you see power, energy sector is getting 25 lakh crores, right? So this is not small. And similarly, there are a lot of mobility, railway, irrigation, rural development, healthcare, and all these are getting different amount of budget, for the improvement of the overall infrastructure. So now, what are all the disciplines which are actually pertaining to the infrastructure when it comes to the academia? So when it comes to the academia, yes, of course, roads are needed. The civil engineers have a very big role to play. Similarly, mechanical and the automobile and the electrical, right? So, and all various such kind of allied sectors related to that. Similarly, the management, where the policymakers are quite important, the bringing in the capacity in terms of managing the respective infrastructure is where the management opportunity lies and administration opportunity lies. Similarly, various other paramedical or the medical, where they can play a critical role in terms of the Ayushman Bharat kind of missions. So where there is a huge investment going on, this is not just for 1 year or 2 years, it is planned for one entire decade. As we move, the need of capacity building. So what is the capacity building? What's the meaning of capacity building? Capacity building is, it starts with, first of all, creating awareness, right? So if the awareness has to be created, where it has to be created? It has to be created amongst the citizens, first of all, because otherwise they would not even know that, where they are moving and what kind of schemes are there and how can they take the benefits out of them. So who can start it? The entire youth can start it. In fact, the students, if the students are aware, they make others aware of it, right? So that's the reason. And two different benefits of making the students aware is, one is as they go home, they make the respective, family members aware. And second one is as they get out of the college, they get into the job, they are already aware, right? So that's the way it can be, catered across the horizontals in the society. So safeguarding the respective investment made is quite important, because yes, there is a 100 lakh crore rupees or above kind of an investment which is being pumped into the infrastructure segment, right? So how to make it, how to safeguard it? Important is awareness. Creating awareness will help, right? So if particular street lighting automated street lighting is implemented across the city, then of course the operators of that should be knowing that yes, the lights can be automatically from central command center, it could be operated. Similarly, sustainability of the infrastructure, such as, okay, there is always the what do you say, that as a hang of the respective infrastructure control is in hand at that time, you can make the infrastructure quite sustainable so that it is durable and it is most productive. To ensure that, in order to ensure that the sustainability of the infrastructure is quite important, to do so, again, educating and building the capacity comes into the picture. Next is to reduce the carbon footprint and meeting the climate goals. As I said a few minutes earlier, that the sustainable development goals, tackling the climate change, is quite important, and what kind of infrastructure has to be implemented and how it has to be managed, and making it more and more longing last is important. So that by means of doing so, you are able to meet the climate goals and providing the utmost benefits to the citizens. Like, if the infrastructure that is being put in, such as water network, is made automated, wherever the leakage is there, instead of manually going and correcting, if you have a system where it says that, okay, there is this kind of a fault in this entire water network, here there is a pilferage, or here there is a leakage, immediately the maintenance force or the technician force is mobilized out there, and then they go and repair. Then there is a turnaround time which is met quite quickly, and in terms of that, the citizen gets the full benefit. They don't need to worry about the water leakage or the water not being supplied to them on time. So same way, improving the return on investment from the infrastructure and uplifting the economy, because more the resources are saved, the supply capacity or the catering capacity increases, right? So the conservation is being adopted, and then improving the productivity is also enhanced. So that is how the spent money, because these are all the 100 lakhs crores investment which is being done, there is a definite tangible or intangible return on investment which is tagged to that, quite important. If there is no earning or saving from the respective infrastructure, it cannot last long. That's another the important aspect. Similarly, reduce the external dependencies. What is the meaning of sustainability? The basic meaning of sustainability is nothing but wherever the cluster is, wherever the respective city or the area is, whatever you consume, you produce locally. That's quite important, right? So you have heard of this Atmanirbhar Bharat or PLI scheme, local manufacturing. Why? Because India has been last few decades has been importing a lot of things from outside India. Yes, that is costly. It is not improving. It has not been improving the economy of India, or the local economy was being impacted, and the other countries used to be actually getting the benefit of it. And the same thing, I'm not just only talking about India, the same thing applies to every country, every city, and every locality. The ecosystem that has to be built is nothing but the local production, and the local production should cater to the local consumption. That's the first and foremost priority. That's how every area can become more and more sustainable. So that is where reduction of the external dependencies occur. Moving on, now agenda for action. So how do we get prepared for the future, right? So first and foremost is, if you do not make these infrastructure administrators, such as maybe it is a governance or non-governmental agencies, right? Or the ones who teach about the infrastructures, if you do not make them aware, right? So how are we going to build the capacity? First and foremost thing is, policymakers have to be made aware, their capacity has to be built, or they need to be reskilled, upskilled. Similarly, right? The faculty development programs are being conducted in various different, educational institutions. So important is because they train thousands, lakhs of people, right? Then the youth and students. The youth and students, because if they are aware during the college itself about the latest or forthcoming future technologies, and the employability, is quite easy. And especially when they are out of the institution, out of the, with their graduation, they are ready to get employed, and they will be better, the implementers of the respective sustainable goals. Similarly, the courses relevant to the ground reality. Number one, creating the courses relevant to the ground reality is quite important. Number one is the curriculum how to address that, right? The curriculum has to address the future technology. Of course, all of us must have been, I don't know how many of you have read about 486, 286 machines. Of course, I'm sure about at least maybe 50% of the syllabus that you read today were read by me or my generation 20-25 years ago when we were in school and colleges, right? So important. It's nothing but the mimicking real-time scenarios in terms of adopting the virtualization or creating such kind of a is quite more easier. Similarly, industrial studies, right? So what is the meaning of industrial studies? Of course, sending the respective students to go and see options. So these are all industrial studies, how a port is smartly operated, the seaport or an airport, right? Automatically, how it is being done, right? So the industrial studies are quite important for students. It's quite, this is where, of course, we also work, the organization I'm representing, Astricos, we also have implemented a lot of smart city command centers, smart data centers, and maybe one or two smart ports also, where the industries like us could be taken, in confidence with the respective academia, where, the exchange program can be created, and then where the respective government, the government and the academia can involve industry and the society and create the total overall, upliftment in terms of skills. So that is where the important aspect why this diagram talks about government also is government is the one who are the policy makers, right? So the industries are actually implementing technologies according to the respective policies of government, the law of the land and the policies of the land. And academia is the one who takes it forward and makes it more popular amongst the civil society and the citizens, because at the end of the day, the one who is the beneficiary is none other than the citizen, right? So citizens' life has to be, made more and more livable. That's important. So, and also the last and but not least point, as I said, is about all the stakeholders. It is an ecosystem where all the stakeholders have to collectively participate in order to uplift the capacity. So the capacity building is especially essential for the sustainability by means of doing so, right? So that's about it. And some of the example curriculum is the disruptive digital tools is the one which can be adopted emerging areas, and disruptive sustainable future, which is the another emerging area, and disruptive reskilling and innovations. That's like thinking, the design thinking, entrepreneurial skills, and all such kind of things, where one side the technical aspects are addressed, another side administrative and managerial aspects are addressed, and the third side it is more and more the personality oriented courses, right? So this is how the entire ecosystem could be probably thought of. So that's about it. And just a quick introduction about what we have done so far is, of course, we have respective intellectual properties and we have implemented in various different cities, as I told earlier. And yes, that's about it. I'm open for questions. Now, please feel free to shoot any questions as you feel. Anybody has a question?
Anushka,
Yeah, not able to hear you,
it was a
sir.
very helpful session.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. Does anybody have any doubts? You can ask, sir. You can put it in the chat box or you can unmute yourselves. Else I will be moving on. Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for such an enriching and intense session. We have surely been enlightened, and I'm sure the audience is going to take back home a lot more knowledge and analogies from your session. You will be thrilled to know that we are conducting a mega internship program where, after completion, certificates and letter of recommendations will be provided to all interns who have performed exceptionally well. For more information on this, do check out the link in our chat box and have a look at our website. Also note that participation certificates will only be issued if you have attended at least 10 hours of sessions during the consortium. Kindly fill the feedback form for the same at the end of the session. Now, for the vote of thanks, I would request Mr. Achyut to please come on the mic.
Thank you, Anushka. So firstly, I would like to thank our reputed speaker for taking out time and agreeing to be a speaker for this consortium and delivering such a great session. Now, I would like to request the CheckDit team to share their screen and provide the speaker with the momentum.
Thank you.
So please
Thanks,
accept this. Thank you, sir. Nextly, I would like to thank a mentor, Dr. Rajeshwari Hegde and Dr. Susan Elias ma'am, for guiding us throughout so that our team could execute their dreams. I would extend my thanks and gratitude to our lovely sponsors, Varivo Motors and EduCheck, along with all our collaborating organizations. Thank you guys. Without you all, we could have never achieved this kind of event. And most important, our outstanding audience. Thank you guys for attending this session, and stay tuned for the exciting session on deep neural network by Dr. Siddharling Urolagan. Stay tuned, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'm here if for another 2-3 minutes if any questions are there. Otherwise,
Yes, I was about to ask the question, sir.
Yes, please.
I am not sure if my network is stable right now.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, once again, thank you very much, sir. What an amazing session. As always, I attended your past sessions as well, and it was extremely enriching again. So thank you very much, sir, for bringing these qualities from your experience, the expertise what you bring with them. It is very, very helpful. Sir, I have just a very particular question regarding the technologies. And since in your introduction as well, when Anushka was introducing you, I was actually was able to see that you are working in security basis a lot. Yes. Everywhere where you are transplanting a technological solution to a problem, you are working on security parallel is important. So so what my query was, sir, how are you planning to embed the newer coming technologies like blockchain and deep learning, artificial intelligence on one hand to increase the security, and on the second hand, how federated learning can have an empire here in the security part of the data, so that now nobody's data has been what I can say means utilized wrong way, or maybe sold or
not
something
taken
like
for
that.
advantage. That's the thing, right?
Correct.
Well,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
it's a
Thank
good
you.
question. Yeah, quite good question. In fact, first I'll address that how this machine learning or artificial intelligence or blockchain kind of a technologies are being used in the smart implementations or the intelligent implementations, right? So as all of us know, the networks like smart cities, right? So or the public administration area is quite open system, right? So it's quite an open system where the network is entirely open. So more open the network is, there is a more the probability of being breached or attacked, correct? So it is, yes, of course, like example, some of the examples, if I have to tell, the bank networks or bank ATMs, all these things are quite prone to attacks. Similarly, the new paradigm has changed. The simple aspect, if I have to take a rewind of how the hacking started, the tradition of hacking started like, okay, long ago, maybe 25 years, 30 years ago, that I'll create a boot sector virus and then you have to reformat your hard disk. That's how it started. Then slowly it moved to that, no, I'm having a fun of taking down the resources, making this server unreachable or such kind of a things. Then slowly it moved towards creating, or defrauding, right? The financial frauds such as phishing or Nigerian frauds, that was named as, okay, don't blame me, for being a racist or something of that sort. Is not like that. The name was coined like Nigerian fraud for the phishing. Later on, it was named as phishing. And then slowly from there, the financial gain, it is slowly moved to the attacking the sentiments of the people. That's like social media, when the social media came in, right? So then slowly it is moving towards another type of an attack, that is cyber warfare or creating chaos, societal chaos. Example, during the COVID period, it was told a lot of issues occurred in terms of cyberspace. That is, cities in the US, I think somewhere in Florida, a water treatment plant was hacked, and the water purity levels were manipulated by a hacker. Fortunately, people found it out, well within the time. Otherwise, a lot of people would have lost their life. So that means the attitude of the attack or the hacker is changing, starting from having fun to create the societal, political, and all such kind of issues. Correct? So this is how it is moving now. How do we tackle this? Tackle this is quite important, is bringing the power of a machine learning or artificial intelligence in order to study the behavior of the attacker's patterns, right? If some kind of an anomaly, what is the behavioral analysis? The behavioral analysis is nothing but studying the pattern historically and trying to figure out what it is going to do next, right? So the pattern analysis, pattern study, and then based on that, create certain kind of a predictions or the decisions that, yes, if this kind of an anomaly is happening, anomalous behavior is happening, then definitely it is going to impact here. That's the way the artificial intelligence and machine learning is being brought in. Now let us say about blockchain, right? So blockchain is the one which actually creates the protection cover. It is an improvement of the age-old encryption decryption technology, right? So now the blockchain, in terms of how it is being adopted in the governments, is the property documents have been, the biggest assets of forgery, right? So they have been the target for forgery for decades together, because there are a lot of, you might have read in the newspapers, or maybe some of you might have come across the issues of also that, this property was sold to already somebody, but my relative bought this property and then he is now not really the owner. The other guy is coming and lodging a case on him, and then he's in a big chaos, right? So these kind of cases used to happen when the hard copy property documents existed. Now it is being the blockchain is being implemented where digitally the property transaction can happen, right? So the digitally, the rightful owner, the rightful seller and rightful buyer, they take the property in a digital format, they exchange the property. When I say the real estate properties, okay, the site, house or anything of that sort. So the blockchain is being implemented in terms of the urban management. So similarly, the banking transactions quite popular, like, wherever this the blockchain is in, that's most popular in the financial transactions, but it is being brought into other areas also, like healthcare certificates, keeping the privacy up the ante, number one. That's quite important for any healthcare, because somebody has got some kind of health condition and it could be what do you say, manipulated or stolen and then taken for advantage, right? So that's the way it is moving towards. So the technology to become smart, it has to also become secure. That's the important aspect, where the cyber security goes as a horizontal, it doesn't go as a vertical, right? When I say horizontal, it should be part and parcel of the base. It's like if you are building a building, cyber security is not a pillar, it's a foundation. Am I answering your question, Saharsh? Not able to hear you, Saharsh. You're on mute. Yes.
Yeah, it definitely did answer my question. Now, another question was how federated learning we can see as amazing security web, something so that data do not leave your premises. Only learning out of the data leaves the premises, and hence we keep your data secure to yourself. How? What is your opinion on that part, sir?
See, the data not leaving is practically not possible. Okay. But how the privacy enforcement is done around it, that is possible, right? So if you have to trace, right, let us say blockchain enforces something kind of a thing, historical linkage, right? So wherever the respective, let us take an example of the financial transaction. Yes, the blockchain maintains the history of that respective financial transaction. Then tracing back to the source is quite easy, right? So that's the way it is. Practically, let us say, okay, there may be a cyber security law in India or any other country like Singapore or anywhere, that they may say that the thing is, the respective data of my citizen cannot go outside India, right? So it is the law, right? Where the companies like Facebooks or Googles, they have to follow the law. What if they do not follow? That's the biggest question, right? When the enforcement is going to come in, it is not yet come in, right? So no governmental agency can easily enforce. Of course, slowly one or the other measures have started, such as creating a geofencing for the data, and also using the respective geofencing for the data or the servers. They can ensure that the Facebook users of India's data are lying on the Facebook servers of India. They are not necessarily lying on some other country which is not friendly to India, right? So like this, the organizations are being enforced by means of the law. Up to what extent they follow, yes, that is really a debatable matter, but there are the technologies which are being brought in, such as geofencing and creating a virtual fence over the data layer. Yes, that is being implemented now even into the governmental areas.
Thank you, sir, for this insight, because I wasn't aware about what kind of geofencing and these things have been brought up as in standards. So, because you are an entrepreneur from, I guess, few years as of now, right? It has been around 7+ years.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So, what would be your advice to the budding entrepreneurs who are looking forward to entrepreneurship as a career or as their passion, and they have tackled some problems?
Absolutely. To become an entrepreneur, just don't keep following, right? You find a problem, find a solution. That's quite important to become an entrepreneur, right? If you are, you have to build a solution oriented approach. But to first build the solution oriented approach, you have to have an attitude of finding the problems and then understanding the problems, right? So if you build these kind of skills, right, automatically you can think of being an entrepreneur. And of course, it's an exciting area, and there is, at this moment, there is a lot of scope for entrepreneurship, right? So the atmosphere is becoming conducive more and more slowly. It is not yet come, that those days are not yet completely there, but they are there up to a certain extent, and it's improving as we move ahead in few years, because the globe is becoming the single market for the entrepreneurs, right? So the thing is, I suggest that, you need to have a solution oriented approach. But to build any kind of solution, having a problem is quite important, and understanding the problem is more important.
Very, I can also kind of relate with that, sir, that how identification of a problem can actually lead you towards a venture which is actually needed, and which is actually solving a very specific and niche down problem, so that people are able to utilize your facilities or products or stuff. So definitely that is helpful. So once again, thank you very much, sir, for your presence, your amazing insights, your great session. And definitely it must have inspired a lot of people to now jot down their career journey. That, okay, I want to go for cyber security and I should work toward it. So I guess from today's session, these will be the takeaways. Thank you. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Chinmay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Means a lot. Your
Have a great
presence
evening,
itself.
everybody. Give me permission to depart. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, sir. Achyut, we may end the live session and